Welcome back. We love our free therapy Wednesdays. Certainly the pandemic and other issues have made life stressful for everyone, including our kids. In these unprecedented times, we've certainly all been affected differently.
Dr. Laura Saunders from the Institute of Living is here to tell us how parents can help navigate with their children overwhelming stress right now. Doc, another school shooting, 9-year-olds this time. You know, I saw you last night on Eyewitness News. You gave some great advice there. We're hoping you can give some great advice here.
Hello, friends. Happy Wednesday. And yes, when are we going to learn? When are we going to make some changes here? But what I want to talk about today is how to talk about stressful incidents, because there's just unprecedented levels of stress for our young people.
Yeah, and I think it's important, right, is we're stressed. And you say, you know, the first thing is being a good role model. So we have to start the conversation. I guess we have to teach what we have to learn. How do we do that?
What I also like to acknowledge is that some stress and some anxiety is part of everyday life.
Yeah.
Right. There's no life that's stress-free.
Yeah.
Even if you find a huge chunk of gold, right, that creates stress. So there is some amount of stress, but it's finding ways to manage it. And as you know, parents, we're trying to teach our children how to identify what's going on, how to talk about it. And, you know, if we get into problem solving, that's a bonus. But, you know, for children, it's about knowing what's going on inside of you, how it affects you, because very often stress and anxiety affects you in your body. So you want to identify where in your body you feel it as well.
All right. And I guess the age of the child also depends on, you know, how you talk to your child, correct?
Yes. We always take development into account when we're talking with our kids. It also, and, you know, Carrie, you had mentioned this, like we're stressed too as parents, but it does mean that you have to like carve out some time.
Yeah.
Find times that are more, where your children are more likely to talk. You know, I always love when you're in the car, you know, on your way to school or on your way to doing something else. Sometimes before dinner, sometimes at bedtime is a really good time to have a talk. And, you know, really start the conversation, because it shows that you're willing to talk about uncomfortable topics and you're not uncomfortable doing that.
Yeah, okay, so that's the first thing, is we want to start it. But you also say listen actively. I'm guilty of this. Sometimes the minute my child starts sharing something, I'm like, oh, well, we could do this, that, and the other. We're already into fixing mode. That's like not what we're supposed to do, right?
Wait a minute.
It is very hard, right? Parents, we come with good intentions. We have a lot of life experience and we just want to launch into fixing it. It's not about fixing it. It's about listening actively. And part of listening actively is reflecting, like, wow, I hear that you're really worried about this, or boy, you've talked a lot about this one particular class. I wonder why it's causing you so much distress. So it's listening actively and kind of reflecting back what they're saying. It's also not leading with a lot of questions like, well, why did you do this? Or what's happening there? It's talking in statements. Sometimes when I feel worried about something, I like to go for a walk, and that helps me, right? So I'm also using a statement and not just driving them with questions.
You know, to be fair to Kara's children, she also does that to me.
Yes. I'm guilty of trying to be a fixer. I'm getting better.
She's my helicopter parent.
Right. Well, Scott, I think you might need it, but
yeah.
You know,
thank you.
For the rest of us, you know, we want to kind of soften strong reactions, because sometimes we hear our kids say things and it like engenders a really strong reaction in us, and we want to breathe through that and say, that's an interesting way to, you know, deal with that situation. You want to be curious and try to be less judgmental. So it's really trying to use these things. And it is about, you know, sharing yourself. It is that modeling. You know, sometimes when I'm worried about something, I do X, or, you know, at the dinner table, it's not just peppering your kids with questions. It's, I had a very busy day today, so it was helpful when I went for a short walk in the middle of the day to help me, right? So you're also talking about things openly, about how you manage stress or identifying things, and that's how you can be the best role model.
So let's just say, you know, you come home and how model this for us, you know, hi, how was your day? Which
Good.
we know is not very terrible.
Good.
I hate school. I hate my teachers. I have so much homework, and they just want to go to their room or something. Like instead, you go, oh, it sounds like.
Yeah. Well, I also think timing is everything. So right when they get home from school might not be the time to pepper them with questions or requests. It might be later. And sometimes it's something simple like, tell me one really crappy thing that happened today or one good thing that happened today, right? So you're providing a balance and that makes them be more reflective than just a yes or no response. So you're making them think a little bit deeper.
I like that. Tell
the highs and lows.
The highs and
Sometimes
lows.
we'll
You know,
say,
that's pretty good. You can jam everything else in between.
So we're going to do a little
Right.
bit more coaching on Kara's Cures coming up. I know we have limited time here, but Dr. Laura Saunders will be on the podcast, and we're going to talk about really how we can be better listeners, less fixing.
Less fixing. Have a great day.
Thank you. You too.
Dr. Laura Saunders. Thank you. We'll see you soon.